going to talk to Jeff, him, from Ohio. Jeff, how are you doing?
Hi, Jeff.
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Very good, thank you. So, well, the question you wanted to ask was, if the supernatural can only be attested to by its effects on the natural world, does all evidence of the supernatural have to appeal to a God of the gaps argument? Would you like to explain that in a little bit more detail?
Sure, as best I can. Mainly, it's been my anecdotal experience that God of the gaps has a particularly negative connotation associated with it. And the more I thought about it, the more I came to believe that there is no other way to demonstrate the existence of the supernatural, since I personally believe that the supernatural can only be attested to by its effect on the natural world. So that means that I can only observe things within the natural world, and then I must rule out natural causes in order to have any reason to believe there may have been a supernatural cause.
Nikki, what do you think about that one?
So supernatural means outside of nature. And if something is outside of nature, it means it cannot be observed within nature. So if you are observing an effect or something in your environment that causes you to question, you're starting to eliminate possibilities. As you eliminate natural causes, it would be my understanding that more than likely you just haven't found the correct natural cause, because if it's supernatural, then you wouldn't have been able to even necessarily dictate or understand what cause it would be anyway. So I don't actually think supernatural, quote unquote, is a thing because of that. I do agree with you that natural causes are more than likely and what is the cause of what you're trying to interpret. But if it's supernatural and outside of nature, then you wouldn't be able to detect it as a cause anyway.
Right.
So
right.
I'm aligning with you on that.
That's sort of the nature of the God of the gaps argument, is that, well, it's a fallacious argument, in my opinion, but because you can never truly exclude all possible natural explanations. But the only way to appeal to something that's not natural is to say, I have exhausted all natural possibilities, right? So it must be something that's not natural. And it seems to me that
we can't exhaust all natural possibilities. I just think we're limited.
Yeah, I agree. But it seems to me that the only way someone who believes in the supernatural could possibly expect to provide evidence for the supernatural is to say, here's this thing in the natural world that has no natural explanation. I don't see any other way that you could possibly argue for the existence of the supernatural.
But it's really not even an argument for the existence of the supernatural, because that is, of course, as you said, the God of the gaps argument. Simply saying because we don't have an explanation in the natural world thus far, it means it's supernatural. That can't actually be demonstrated, so that claim can't even be made within any intellectual honesty.
Yes, I agree. And my point is that I see no alternative, and that's why I don't see how anyone can believe in the supernatural.
I see an alternative. The alternative is to say, I don't know. If we don't have any natural explanations up to that point, you shirk the supernatural lie, and you say, well, I don't know until we find something.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not working for them.
Yeah, I think
I don't see any other alternative argument for the supernatural, and that's why I don't believe in the supernatural. So this seems to be the only one that could possibly work, and I don't see how it could work, given that we're incapable of eliminating all possible natural explanations.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because the kind of question is if the supernatural can only be attested by its effect on the natural world, and I think we've also got to look at is it possible? Is it possible that the supernatural could be out there, that there could be a God out there, and it have no action in relation to the natural world whatsoever? And I think this is where skepticism, I think, for me is really important, because we could say that yes, we could accept the possibility that there is a God out there that is completely supernatural and it's completely unrelated to the natural world. The important part for us is when are we justified to believe in that God?
Okay.
And that's where skepticism comes in, because unless you have any kind of justification for believing in it, what is it, and why are you believing in that God to begin with? If it has no interaction with the natural world, if you know, why are we accepting that? And there are plenty of people out there who kind of do believe in these deistic prime mover gods who don't interact with the natural world. And you know, this becomes a serious. Your question becomes a serious question for them, when you know, because they do believe in a supernatural entity that doesn't affect the natural world. So why is it that they believe that? And I think that's what your question really raises an important spotlight on.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you taking my call.
Of course.
No
Thank you.
problem. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate you.